All right. Hello, and thank you all for joining us today to kick off our SolidWorks 2021 virtual launch event. We're going to get started in just another minute or so, but first there are a couple of quick housekeeping items to mention. This session is the very first session in our virtual launch series taking place this week. We have 13 more breakout sessions running between now and Thursday, covering all the latest and greatest from SolidWorks and Dassault systems for 2021. If you haven't already done so, you can still register for any of those breakout sessions by visiting our website, cadmicro.com, and checking out our online calendar. This year, since we can't get together in person, we wanted to still thank you for joining us by giving you the opportunity to win some awesome prizes. We want to hear from you. During any of our sessions, including this one right now, anyone that asks a question to our presenters will be entered into a raffle to win an ecobee smart thermostat. The draw will be pulled on Friday, and the winner will be notified via email. All you have to do to enter is come with questions for our presenters. You should see a questions box in the GoToWebinar panel. Simply enter your questions as they come up, and we'll do our best to get to them all live. If we do run out of time, we'll be sure to follow up with you afterwards. Lastly, after our sessions wrap up at the end of the week, we'll be sending you all a survey to get a little bit of feedback on our first ever all virtual launch event. There are 3 more prizes up for grabs there, so make sure you check your junk folder and fill it out for a chance to win. All right, without further ado, I will pass things over to CAD Micro's president and one of the managing partners here, Darren Gornell.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Jess. Welcome to our 2021 SolidWorks launch. 2020 has been a challenging year, to say the least, and we're grateful to you for spending this time with us. I really wish we were all together, but we're going to try and make the best of it. The most common question I'm asked is, how is business? I can tell you it has never been more challenging, but at the same time, it has never been more rewarding, and I'm really proud of the work our clients are doing, and I'm really proud of how the CAD Micro team is enabling Canadian innovation. I'm optimistic that Canadians have realized our need to be self-sufficient and our need to increase competitiveness through innovation. We recognize not all of our customers are leveraging Industry 4.0 technologies, but we are encouraged by the number of companies who are using this time to investigate and level up their knowledge and the impact on their business. We've seen our customers pivot in a time of great need, and we have worked hard to support their efforts. Regardless of where you are and what technology you're using, we want to enable you to be successful. Our strategy has been simple. We've really moved to be closer to our customers, and I can tell you that has not been easy over the last 7 months. We've opened new offices and added employees across the country over the past few years. In fact, we've added 12 people since COVID started in Quebec, Alberta, BC, and Ontario. Our goal is to work with you to tackle your business issues and deliver the business outcomes you desire. We leverage a wide range of technologies, always ensuring they are industry leading or an up-and-coming technology that we have tested and believe will soon be #1. I hope out of these sessions you can identify some areas you would like to dig into deeper, and then allow our team to work with you to determine how best we can make that happen. Now I'm going to pass this along to my business partner and our VP Sales, Chris Watkinson, who will share more about the SolidWorks community. Thank you again for attending, and have a great day.
Thanks, Darren. As Darren said, 2020 has been a real challenge. It started off, one of the first events we went to was 3D Experience World in Nashville, where we hoped to be joined by some of our customers' colleagues from China, but they weren't allowed to come. Towards the end of 3D Experience World, it became clear that this pandemic was going to dramatically affect business this year. And people started talking about how we were all going to pivot. We had to reorganize training. Eventually, we had to shut down the Toronto office as far as the sales staff was concerned. We had to keep it open to keep our additive manufacturing and essential services going. And it's been a challenge for sure. During that time, we've been completely amazed to see how Canadians across the country, especially in the design and engineering and manufacturing industry, have had to pivot, and that they've shown a lot of grit. One of the ways that I like to think about grit, there's a book that's out right now, is it's a combination of passion and perseverance, which ensures that you're going to meet your long-term objectives. Our additive manufacturing team at the beginning of COVID immediately was able to pivot and start providing the medical professionals here in Canada with personal protective equipment. The picture on the top is a group of nurses and doctors from Hospital for Sick Children here in Toronto. I know that we were able to help dozens of organizations, and we certainly thank and appreciate the grit of our frontline healthcare workers. Many of our customers showed similar grit and immediately, instead of giving up or scaling back, doubled down their efforts to provide Canadians with the technology and services that we would need to get through this pandemic together. One of the most impressive examples was Eclipse Automation in Cambridge, Ontario. Through the leadership of their president, Steve Mai, and their engineering team, they immediately began obtaining engineering drawings for N95 mask manufacturing. They manufactured ventilators. They manufactured PPE, and we were honored to support them as far as SolidWorks technical support through that process. Other customers are too numerous to mention that have been part of this response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Thornhill Medical, Taco, Array, Proto 3000, Advantage, Teleria, and Exergy. So a big shout out to all of our customers. They immediately went into overdrive, responding to many requests from government. While 2020 has been a challenge, SolidWorks continues to lead the world in 3D CAD. We now have over 6 million users. All of us at CAD Micro Solutions and all of the SolidWorks users across Canada are part of a huge community of professionals. An amazing statistic came out in 2019 that over 65% of all 3D CAD licenses purchased, whether those were SolidWorks or Fusion or Rhino or Revit or CATIA or NX. I mean, there's dozens of products, Google SketchUp, Civil 3D, ArchiCAD, SpaceClaim, dozens more. Over 65% of all of the 3D CAD licenses purchased last year were SolidWorks licenses, which is an amazing statistic. And this is a clear data point on why SolidWorks Desktop will continue to evolve, and SolidWorks will always invest in making it better. And this year's no exception. Looking forward to my business partner Hiro's presentation on what's new in SolidWorks 2021 in just a couple of minutes. I know that everybody at CAD Micro Solutions sees ourselves as part of our service team. We are at our core a customer service company. Our customer support in 2019 has helped us win for the third year in a row the Elite SolidWorks Subscription Service 190 Club. So thank you from all of us at CAD Micro Solutions. We're well on track to winning it again for 2020, which again has showed a lot of grit and perseverance. So let's quickly review why over 94% of our customers last year continued to keep your SolidWorks licenses on subscription and are continuing to do so this year, despite the challenges that COVID-19 has put on the bottom line. You have learned, and we clearly see that customers that keep their licenses on subscription are more productive, more innovative, and more successful. Subscription is an investment that ensures you maximize your return on what you have spent. As the SolidWorks ecosystem grows, alluding to the slide that Darren showed with all of the different aspects of Industry 4.0 that you could take advantage of, we're seeing SolidWorks implementations become dramatically more complex. You're adding and integrating a number of different Industry 4.0 solutions. And so we believe that the subscription support that you're receiving has never been more relevant and impactful to your bottom line. For example, with cloud computing as one example, Moore's law that your computer power would increase exponentially every 2 years is over. It's probably been over for a number of years. If you look at the power of the workstation that you maybe purchased 5 years ago, it isn't that different than what you would purchase today. And that's why we need to give you the ability to have options to transition to the cloud so you can take advantage of topology optimization and advanced simulation and global collaboration. So starting in 2017, Hiro Castellanos and the CAD Micro technical team began working hard to level up our cloud experience in a big way so that we could support you on your traditional desktop journey and with your transition to the cloud. We are now able to help you on every step of the way in your cloud transition journey. Let me explain to you some of the different ways that we're helping our customers with the cloud. So we all know and love our traditional SolidWorks desktop. Customers are now starting to talk to us about either hosting SolidWorks licenses on the cloud, so accessing them through a thin client, or hosting their PDM on the cloud. So we've created infrastructure as a service, so we can take your PDM standard or your PDM professional or your PDM manage and host it on the cloud. We can also give you access to SolidWorks licenses through a virtual GPU anywhere in the world. And this has become an extremely popular option during the pandemic for existing customers and certainly for startups that don't want to invest in servers and that type of infrastructure. We also have the ability to provide you with platform as a service. So I'm going to talk a little bit about SolidWorks 3D Experience Works offers and what platform as a service means, but essentially it's when you need the power of the cloud, we can connect you to have your SolidWorks data directly stored in the cloud, connect you with other cloud-based applications, and connect you with Simulia-based solvers, right? And then we can connect you with full software as a service, where your entire experience is an online one, where you're designing through a web browser with all of your data stored in the cloud and collaborating seamlessly globally. So we see our customers as they evolve, wanting to take advantage of cloud computing in a structured way, but we need to give you all of the different options so that you can, instead of jumping from step 1 straight to step 4, that you can have a logical progression and take advantage of cloud computing. Here's a good example of how cloud computing in Industry 4.0 enabled disruption. So you have a traditional part that's designed in 3D. You can leverage advanced simulation and cloud computing to figure out exactly what the computer augmented engineering design should be. And then you can manufacture it using additive manufacturing. So 3 or 4 different Industry 4.0 technologies, making something that would normally be mutually exclusive, like part cost, weight, and actually make a part that's even stronger. There's too many Industry 4.0 technologies that are new at CAD Micro Solutions that we've onboarded this year to talk to you about, but I'm going to talk about just 4 quick highlights. We have a new scanner in-house for 3D scanning and metrology, led by our Director of 3D Scanning and Metrology, Rob Johnson, called the ATOS Q. Again, this is a new level up. It's much faster and more accurate, and we've never seen better quality of data come from this 3D scanning technology, and it integrates well with our other solutions. We have a number of different new additive manufacturing machines led by our additive manufacturing group, which Hagardeep Singh is the vice president of, one of which is the Nexa 3D NX400 printer, which is 6 times faster and has a 2.5 times larger build volume than any competitive machine on the market. Our digital experiences group continues to innovate. One of the challenges we had during the pandemic was a customer in Calgary, Exergy Solutions, a very innovative company, wanted to continue with an installation, but our HP certified engineers couldn't get on site. So we collaborated with Exergy with some of our XR technology. We used the HoloLens, and we were able to validate with their assistance that this technology would allow them to install with guidance from our certified applications engineers here in Toronto. If you're interested in learning more about AR and VR and our HoloLens technology, please reach out to your account manager. And lastly, this is the one that I'm extremely excited about from a Moore's Law or a cloud-based computing perspective, is that we've really ramped up our simulation group with the addition of Simulia Works. We've added a number of important team members that are very experienced in simulation. They're running a simulation webinar on October 21st at 1 p.m. I'd encourage you to join. but we now have the SolidWorks community connected to the world's most advanced explicit solver, powered by the cloud. So that's extremely exciting in terms of any of you that have sort of hit the wall with some of the simulation capabilities included in traditional SolidWorks desktop applications. We've also challenged the sales team to reorganize themselves to better meet the needs of our over 3,000 customers and create industry-specific solutions. So we now have industry captains in all of these different industries that we strategically target. So you can come to us and we'll have and have curated, industry-specific applications. For example, process and plant engineers may want intelligent P&ID. If you're in the furniture and case goods, you may want special wood making and wood routing solutions. If you're in high technology and electronics, you might be interested in PCB design and cooling. So we are posting these industry solutions on cadmicro.com. So please have a look out for them. If you're not sure whether or not you have any blind spots in your current SolidWorks implementation with respect to what we think the best in class industry solution is, please let us know. On July 1st, one of the biggest changes to the SolidWorks ecosystem was announced with the release of our 3D Experience SolidWorks offers. So let me just explain what those are and walk you through why we think that there's a tremendous amount of value. So they're similar to the traditional SolidWorks desktop offers in that we have SolidWorks Standard, SolidWorks Professional, and SolidWorks Premium, but we now call them 3D Experience SolidWorks Standard, 3D Experience SolidWorks Pro, 3D Experience SolidWorks Premium. These offers include all of the modules that you would normally get included with the packages that you're familiar with, plus we are changing the game by connecting your traditional desktop SolidWorks with data management and collaboration on the cloud. So here's SolidWorks with the 3D Experience SolidWorks offer. And instead of having your traditional desktop or server-based data management application, you're connected to the 3D Experience and all of your data is stored on the cloud. There's a number of different additional roles that are included in this offer, one of which is included in all three of the offers is called 3D Creator. And 3D Creator has one of its applications, something called XDesign. And XDesign gives you a wonderful, seamless parametric design application that can be run independent of any desktop computer, so you can run it through the browser on any device, on your phone or any tablet. Its data can be seamlessly connected with your traditional SolidWorks desktop, but it gives you parametric design available from anywhere at any time. It includes advanced tools like generative design and topology optimization. And we think that this hybrid model of desktop with cloud collaboration and cloud application software as a service is one that's going to let you really take advantage of Industry 4.0. The next level up from 3D Experience SolidWorks is 3D Experience SolidWorks Professional. In addition to the 3D Creator role with XDesign, it has an industrial design tool called 3D Sculptor, which has an industrial design application called X-Shape. X-Shape is sub-D modeling, so it's very good for organic surfacing, and again, seamlessly integrates backwards to your SolidWorks desktop application. 3D Experience SolidWorks Premium is the same as Professional or Standard, but it adds the premium modules that you know and love, which is SolidWorks desktop simulation for linear stress analysis and SolidWorks routing and the 3D scanning applications. So there's the three SolidWorks 3D Experience offers. If you're interested in learning about pricing, some of these offers are actually less expensive than their traditional desktop counterparts. So there's a tremendous amount of value, and I'd encourage you to learn more about it. reach out to your account manager. Now I'd like to turn things over to the third managing partner at CAD Micro Solutions that you're going to meet today, Hiro Castellanos. I think I'm going to stop presenting and let you become the presenter, Hiro. Hiro is our VP Technical, and he's going to walk you through what's new in SolidWorks 2021.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And we're going to be talking about the what's new on SolidWorks 2021. The SolidWorks has been around for a long time, 25 years. And every year, the launch events is something that I look forward to. And this year is no different. I wish we could do it live in person. And I think that's going to happen next year, or I hope that's going to happen next year. But nonetheless, we have a great series of events. Like Jessica mentioned earlier today, we have 14 different events scheduled for the next 4 days, starting today with what we're calling the launch kickoff. In that, I'm going to be looking at the enhancements, the main enhancements of the core SolidWorks desktop products, so the parts, assemblies, drawings, user interface. SolidWorks has been around for 25 years, and in these 25 years, they've always picked a different data set. Let me actually turn off my camera here so you can pay attention on the video. So we have this year the Square Robot, which is a company based out of Boston, Massachusetts. And what they do is these automated robotics inspection devices for harsh environments. The devices, these robots, go submerged into these petroleum tanks and do inspection of the tank. This has helped their customer base by reducing costs, keeping uptime, and improving quality. By being a startup, Square Robot, founded in 2016, they have members in a distributed environment with different locations. By the nature of their work, also they have to be at the location. They needed both a top-of-the-class design tool and a top-of-the-class collaboration environment. And they have selected SolidWorks as their design tool and Enovia as their PLM, PDM environment. And this is the data set that we're going to be using for the next few days to showcase the different enhancements that we have in SolidWorks 2021. There are different sections of what we're going to be covering throughout the week. We're going to start today with the SolidWorks core portion of it. And within that SolidWorks, we have enhancements both in expanded functionality as well as performance. And we're going to be seeing SolidWorks 2021 in action. Now, as well, this week, we want to make you aware, as Chris already started to showcase some of the products, the new offerings through the Experience Solidworks offerings. And we want to make you aware of all the different roles that are available in the platform. There are roles for collaboration, for data management, for validation, and for cloud-based design tools, as has been explained before. So the next set of roles, or the promise that 3D Experience Works brings to you, is that the 3D Experience Works is the platform where all the different technologies that Dassault Systems has in one location where they can collaborate together. And the 3D Experience Works is a subset of that functionality that is brought or targeted to the SolidWorks community. In 2021 SolidWorks, we have a lot of different types of enhancements, and we're going to be covering them throughout the week. We have enhancements in assembly modeling, in assembly performance, in part design, in user experience, and in simulation. And those have been the core of the different enhancements throughout the years. We also have detailing mode enhancements when we're talking about performance and drawing performance as well, just opening and work.
And we have worked hard to support
and graphics performance and assembly performance enhancements. These enhancements are a continuation of what has been brought in the last few years with the graphics enhancements that were brought in 2019, enhanced in 2020, and furthermore in 2021. Before we continue and look at the details, let's explore a little bit more these performance enhancements. Solidworks really put a lot of effort this year in performance, quality, and reliability. Solidworks is a mature product. It's been around for 25 years. And what customers ask the most is not necessarily a new functionality, a new flashy feature. They want a lot of quality and performance. And that's where Solidworks has invested most of their time and efforts in this release of Solidworks. And you can see the different sections of that graph. The way that they measure this performance and reliability is by something called SPRs. So when somebody creates a ticket with us, a case with CAD Micro, because SolidWorks is experiencing some erratic behavior, we create what we call a service request. And that service request, when we identify that there is an issue with the software, gets expanded with to what is called a software performance report. And that is what we call an SPR. And that SPR, what it does is that it tracks something that needs to be done in the code of the software. It's not only tracking it, but it also gets rated based on the severity and impact. It goes from 1 and 2, where we're highly, very severe and impact most of the customer base, to kind of severity 5, where it would be just maybe a nuisance, but it doesn't prevent work. So the SolidWorks has made a commitment that for SolidWorks Desktop, that they're going to be reducing 90% of all the SPRs that are in severities 1 through 4. That means that in the next few releases, it's going to be only 10% of the SPRs are going to be in those higher critical or severity levels. So let's take a look now that we discussed performance. Let's take a look at SolidWorks 2021 in action. There are different sections of the software, and today I'm going to be concentrated on user interface, part, assemblies, drawings. I'll look at the e-drawings, and then I'll give you an overall highlight of all the rest of the enhancements, but more, I'm going to guide you through the different presentations that we have throughout the week, where they're going to look in detail at each of those different enhancements. When we look at the user interface, we know that this is something that is very important for our users. It is very important for me. We have a user interface, and manipulating and customizing that user interface is important. And here I have a part where I have a sketch that I need to cut, but the sketch is the same color of the part. New for 2021, SolidWorks is in the system options. We have a new column that shows me the different colors of all the entities, and it gives me a easier access of customizing that. In this case, I'm going to grab that sketch that is inactive, change the color to green, and then when I say OK to that, you can see that now it's easier to find that sketch to work further on. Another enhancement is with the command manager. Now we are able to collapse this command manager, and that gives us a little bit more real estate. We also can customize it, adding or removing the quick start buttons and adding them to that command manager. We can have access to all the commands in the command manager, But a better option, or one that I use all the time, is the S key. The S key, when you're working with SolidWorks, will create a shortcut and it will let you search for the commands, but also the shortcut toolbar will pop up. Now, when customizing that shortcut toolbar, we're able to search for the commands, which makes it easier to find and easy to customize each of those toolbars. There are toolbars for different environments. It's parts, assemblies, drawing, sketch environments. In this case, we're adding the pattern to our feature toolbar, and we're adding the undo and redo to our heads-up display toolbar. You can see that now with these interface enhancements, it is very easy to accomplish what we need with very little mouse travel. One of the items that we've had for a long time is the undo and redo. But previously, before 2021, undo would be able to undo a lot of the features, especially features edit, but the redo was not able to actually recreate that. So if by mistake you undid something that you actually wanted to keep, you had to redo it again. That's no longer the case in SolidWorks 2021. The redo is more robust. It gives you access to redo more items, but more importantly, you can also redo any features edit that you have undone before. So the user interface is something that we all appreciate. Is the little things that drive you crazy, drives me crazy, and those are the things that I like, being able to customize that user interface and have the SolidWorks that I like for the type of work that I do. The next up is going to be parts. Parts are going to be is an environment that everybody uses, but it's an environment that encapsulates different type of workflows. For some people, parts is maybe just kind of plain or robust features like extrusions and cuts and very prismatic type of models. For others, maybe sheet metal parts. For others, maybe a part that is being designed for additive manufacturing. It could be surfacing. It could be weldments. So there is different environments within the part environment. In our case, we're going to be highlighting a lot of the enhancements in the part environment for each of those different workflows. Let's start with sheet metal. Sheet metal has been around for a long time. It is one of those environments that is known throughout the industry for the great capability that SolidWorks has. And in this case, what we're going to be working on is on a flange. We've had in the past the ability to create a flange edge from a curved edge, but that was limited just to a planar face. Now that's no longer the case. If you see here, right at the corner, we're creating a flange that goes through the curved edge on a corner, which is essentially deforming the material. This is kind of a drawn part, but we still are able to do that in SolidWorks 2021. In this case, the flange that we created, it gives extra stiffness to the part, and we are able to flatten that as well. In some occasions, that flange like that, it will be more suitable for an enclosure, and that's the case in here, that we have, again, a non-linear, a non-planar curved edge, where we are adding a flange, an edge flange. We can change the angle, we can change the direction of the and the length of that flange, and then we are able to flatten that structure in 2021. So a lot of functionality. This is an enhancement that a lot of our customers had required for a while, had requested, and I'm very glad to see it in SolidWorks 2021. It's one of my kind of top enhancements of the year. The next one up is when we're building or creating a part that is going to be manufacturing using additive manufacturing. And that's the case that we have in here. In the last couple of releases, SolidWorks added the 3MF file format. This is a fairly new file format created by an organization of different additive manufacturing machine manufacturers, additive companies, as well as CAD and design companies, and they've come together to create a better file format that contains more information. New for 2021, this 3MF has the ability to include the material, appearances, and transparency within that file format. So when you are exporting these out to a 3D printer or to another CAD format to kind of post-process, then that information is within the file format. Also, when we're importing into SolidWorks a 3MF file that contains transparencies, appearances, or materials and textures, that information is also brought in when we import that. And that's what we have in here. We have the cap that is transparent, the back part that is the bracket that has a texture in there. There is a lot more that we can do with SolidWorks, with the 3D Experience platform, in conjunction with additive manufacturing. So one of the first session that I want to highlight today is a session that Deep, our Vice President for Additive Manufacturing, is going to be doing on October 22 at 11:30. Please join that session. It's a very good session that it showcases all the integration of CAD and additive manufacturing within the SolidWorks and 3D Experience platform and technologies. The next one is weldments. We have weldments. This is another workflow and environment that people use with SolidWorks parts. And in this case, it's very common that we have different type of weldment sizes within the same weldment. And that's what we have here. We have a 2x2 weldment square tube and a 3x2 square tube. We have different options of corner type, but previously in 2020 and before, we had, when we're doing a miter cut, we only had the same angle or half angle option. Now we have a full flush miter. And what that does is that when you have different sizes of weldments, it doesn't create the same angle between the two, but calculates the angle required to do a flush system. In this case, because all the other components were a mirror and a pattern of the original one, then that also gets propagated. A lot of the weldments are painted parts, and these painted parts are can be represented within SolidWorks, and that's what we have here. In the past, we've always had access to these
The SolidWorks community. Thank you again.
Or the color spectrum box, where we can find different colors within that spectrum. But sometimes we need to get a specific color. In this case, we want to add the two square robot colors to our weldment. And you can see that there are the blue and that orange one. New for 2021 is now we have this color picker, this drop icon. It lets you select the icon, and then when you do that, you can pick and create or grab any color from any environment within your PC. So in this case, we're grabbing the blue color for the main weldment, and we're gonna pick the second orange color for the other structural members, because this is again a mirror and a pattern, and in this pattern we're also propagating visual properties. You can see how that extends to the other parts. In the past, people had had to use different kind of third-party applications to be able to select colors. Now it is something that is embedded within SolidWorks. Also within the part environment and overall SolidWorks, we have our custom properties. And custom properties is very useful, and it's something that not only we use within that environment, parts or assembly or drawing, but it's used downstream. applications like you have PDM, MBD, all these kind of metadata assembly visualization is used using these custom properties. In the past, we've always been able to create them, but new for 2021 is now that we are able to create an equation-driven custom properties. These equation-driven custom properties gives me access to all the global variances, functions, and properties that are available within the SolidWorks environment. In this case, what we want to calculate in this custom property is the cost of this weldment. We have a global variable that is the cost per pound, and we're multiplying that by the amount of pound, the total weight of those properties, of those weldments. We can leverage that both in the custom properties, but also in the cut list properties. In this case, we're looking at the quantity of a certain structural member and multiplying by the length to get the total length of that structural, or the requirements of that structural member. So a lot of functionality. Previously, we would have to create maybe a separate equation, create a custom or a global variable from those equations to be able to bring it into a custom property. Now they're more efficiently rebuilt within the custom property environment, and they are more efficient created. Those are some of the many enhancements in the part environment for 2021. We also have the ability to transfer parts and materials from the parent part when we're doing certain part, as well as a more simpler and better graphical manipulation of when we're doing a weldment with the structure system. Let's move on now to the assemblies. In the assemblies environment, we have divided the enhancements kind of in two main sections. One is just overall enhancements in the environment, and then also assembly performance enhancement. So let's get started. The first thing that we're going to be doing here is we're going to look at this assembly. You see that what we're doing is we're creating a mate between those two items. New for 2021, now the mate command manager is better organized. Now we have tabs as opposed to different sections, and it's easier to get to the type of mate that I need. In this case, we're looking at a standard mate or an advanced mate, and then we can apply that. Once applied, we've always been able to flip that mate. When we do that, we flip the mate alignment, SolidWorks will prompt us if we want to keep that mate alignment or flip it for everyone in case that it produces errors. That is something that if you do all the time and you know that you need to kind of flip the alignment of several parts, you would have to say yes to that dialog box. New for 2021, the change mate alignment on edit is a setting that you can have in those system options. So that dialog box will pop up if you want it to pop up and prompt you. But if you already know that when you're changing these mate alignments, you want it to change to all the parts within that alignment set, then that would be that is now the default behavior. So in here, if I change the flip alignment now, you see the pop-up doesn't come up, and it makes for a faster workflow. Now we're gonna create or add a slot mate between that nut and the frame. And what we're doing in here is that once we add it, we have the ability to position that mate within the travel path. Also, we have the ability to lock the rotation, similar to what we do in cylindrical mates that we can, or mates with cylinders where we can stop the rotation. We can do that in here. But new for 2021 is that we can also create a default constraint. So when we're adding this type of mates, then the system already knows what type of position we want. We can always override it, but at least it has one default one to start with. When doing patterns of assemblies or pattern within the assemblies, we have the option of change the configuration of the pattern parts different from the seed or the original part. If that is the case, we want to change that back, we need to change that back manually. New for 2021, now we have the ability to synchronize configuration of the pattern based on the seed. And what that does is that no longer is a manual process. If I change my configuration, then all the parts within that pattern would be, the configuration would be changed. Not only that, but if I want to change it, then it is restricted for me. So I know that I cannot make a mistake by changing a configuration without changing the pattern. In this case, when I change one, all of them get updated. We also have enhancements, and this is probably my favorite enhancement of 2021. We've always had interference detection, but now we have the ability to save these results in Excel. So we have a list of different interferences in the window. In the property manager, you can see the volumes and the components that are in the interference, but it may not be the best place to look and dissect that information. Now we can save those results in Excel. And what that does is that it gives me the ability to create an Excel table with thumbnails that shows me all of the different interferences. And you see that the user interface or SolidWorks iterates through all the different interferences, and it creates this table where I can see the volume, the components that are involved, and and a preview of that interface. So I can further post-process that information in here. I can this is a table in Excel, so I can do a filter. I can look by component names, by volume, and have a better idea of what interferences are important to me or not. In terms of assembly performance, the open for resolve and lightweight are faster now. In this case, we're opening 2,000 or 2,200 part assembly in only 29 seconds or something like that. 18 seconds, there you go. This is something that you don't have to do anything. It is embedded within the functionality of SolidWorks 2021. And in this case, we're opening this in lightweight. Now, to enhance that workflow of lightweight assemblies, SolidWorks has added the ability of automatically load lightweight components as you're browsing through them. So you can see here that I grab a lightweight subassembly, and as soon as I expand on it, then you can the components are loaded. So it gives me ease of access, ease of load, but it doesn't prevent me to working fully with that assembly as I start drilling and digging through it. Also new for 2021 is the creation of new configurations, and the changing between existing configurations is much faster. In this case, we have two configurations, and the rebuild and the option that we have to change in between the configurations is a fraction of the time that you would have to do that in 2020 and before. In the last few years, performance evaluation is a tool that was released to group all the different aspects that help you diagnose what is preventing your assembly, or what is the main indicators of a large assembly. And that's what performance evaluation does. New for 2021 is the new item in that performance evaluation of circular references. Circular references are one of those things that really hurt performance, because it increases the amount of rebuilds required for a part to be fully resolved. or an assembly to be fully resolved. And that's what is happening in here. If you take a look at the assemblies that we're isolating, or the components that we are isolating in here, we have a hole made with the hole wizard. The position of those holes, it is an external reference to the component behind it. But if we look at that component behind and look at that feature of that component, which is that cylindrical hole that is in there, and we look at that, the position of the hole is actually referencing the center of the edge of the hole that is referencing itself. So if to be able to solve this, SolidWorks would have to rebuild this several times. Being able to find these type of circular references and troubleshoot them will make your large assemblies better and easier to handle. In this case, we just replace that circular reference with some dimensions to fully define that sketch. We also have in 2021 or before, we've had this feature functionality, which lets you grab a complex assembly and simplify it for either the purpose of having a lighter weight assembly in a main assembly, or for just protecting intellectual property. In this case, the feature is in the assembly, and we have different groups that we can create and different strategies. As we're picking those groups and assigning them, you see in the right-hand side that the items that we grab to the group based on that strategy get represented in my right-hand side of the screen. In this case, we're going to look at this polygon outline and enclose that within our body. We can also add different components and just do the outline of those components, or do bring the entire component itself. In some cases, we do need to have the entire part in that simplified version. Typically formatting or referencing the part in a bigger assembly. Once we do that, new for 2021 is the ability to grab this part or this feature assembly and save it as a configuration of the same assembly. And this gets created automatically, added in there, and then SolidWorks has the ability to use the features configuration in the main assemblies just by right-clicking on the main assembly almost as a derived configuration. You can see that it is created as a derived configuration of each of the assembly configurations that you have, and then to access that within a main assembly, it's just a matter of a right-click of that subassembly and use the feature subassembly. There you go. The rest of the enhancements in the assemblies are more towards performance. One of the enhancements that we grabbed that were introduced in 2020 or 2019 was the graphics area enhancement. This is leveraging this enhanced graphics performance. It's leveraging your video card and the other functionality that or other performance that your video card has to manipulate the graphics. And you can see in here that we have a comparison, a side-to-side comparison of an assembly, the same assembly, same computer specs in 2020 with 2021. And you can see that with this added functionality, we're able to kind of manipulate that. This was introduced last year. New for 2021 is the ability to be able to do that, not only for a shaded, but also for a different type of displays, like hidden lines removed and hidden lines visible. So now we're queuing or giving this processing to the video card, which is more suitable to do that, and leaving the CPU for other type of processing. This is, again, a great enhancement of for performance of large assemblies. Another way that we work is in improving the usability of large assemblies is with rendering or preventing the rendering of parts that are not visible. This is new for 2019 or 2021, and we call it occlusion. Occlusion cooling. And then what we're doing here is that if you see here, as we're rotating and parts are becoming at view, they remain not fully rendered because everything that is behind, that is not visible through this camera view, is not fully rendered by the video card. And as we use it and rotate around, then the full render it is available. The large assemblies performance is something that SolidWorks has been working based on customer demands for the last several years. And it is easy to get confused by all the different areas where SolidWorks has added functionality in the performance. So I'm going to invite you to go to another of the sessions that we have planned. The improved large assembly performance in SolidWorks that is happening on October 22nd at 11:30. And in this session, we're going to be both looking in more detail of what is new in the 2021 version of SolidWorks, but more importantly, putting together all the different enhancements throughout the last few years and the best practice from our experience on working with large assemblies. So please, please attend that session. The next one up is drawings. Drawings is, again, another environment where a lot of, or pretty much everybody works. The loading these large assemblies or large view in SolidWorks is something that, again, is new for 2021. The detailing view was introduced in 2020, but it's been expanded in 2021. Now, when we're opening these detailing views, we have the ability to also leverage this enhanced graphics performance that was limited to 3D geometry in 2020. Now we're leveraging that same type of functionality in 2D drawings, which means that when you're opening a 2D drawing and manipulating a 2D drawing in 2020 compared to 2021 is going to be a lot faster. So you can see, for example, in here, we're moving an assembly, zooming in, panning, a drawing that has different drawing views. And when we do that in 2021, by using the video card that you have already in your computer, is a lot faster. Also, opening in detailing view now in 2021 gives you more access to the functionality that we have in regular drawings detailing. Specifically, we have access to the annotations, preview added annotations. Now we're able to edit those as well as the balloons. So in this case, we're grabbing the balloons and the annotations, and we're going to be able to modify them as well. We're also able to add and modify different type of views that we didn't have access to. We like broken view, detailed view, and crop view are also something that we can access within this detailing environment. In this case, you see that we have a broken view in the lower view, but not in the top one. We're gonna add this broken view to our view on top, and you'll notice that as well, the foreshortened dimensions are going to be created. We have the full functionality of the broken view. The different break line styles are available. The gap size, the cut directions, all of those are the same. Also, in 2021, we have the ability to add ordinate dimensions in this detailing mode. And we're adding that to a set of the ordinate dimensions that were already created before the detailing mode was, so more flexible. We can create, as I mentioned, detailed views. In this case, a detailed view of that corner treatment. We have also the ability to look and use whole callouts in this detailing mode. Detailing mode was introduced, like I said, in 2020 to bring better functionality with large drawings with a lot of different performance issues. In this case, we also have full access to all the dimension editing settings, or the dimension properties. So we can add, in this case, tolerance and precision to a dimension that was created not in detailing mode, but we can do that after the fact in this detailing operation as well. We also have, just in the regular drawing environment, when we're adding dimensions, you see that now when we do multiple selections in those dimensions, the dimension becomes transparent, the actual dimension text. And this helps in selecting the entities that we want to dimension. That was a great enhancement that was requested, and now SolidWorks 2021 has brought it up. Also, we've had balloons for a long time, obviously, but now in 2021 we have the ability to create Vba balloons. This type of balloons are more popular in Europe, especially in Germany. But it gives us that ability to kind of create those balloons and sit and use them in any downstream applications like MBB or inspection. Also, we've always had the ability to create and have sketches in the drawing environment, but to add relationship between these sketch entities, you had to go through the menu. That's no longer the case in SolidWorks 2021. We can have these dimensions here in the heads-up display, in the custom toolbar that comes in. So that's what we give that ability to create those relationships a lot faster. And that is it for our drawing enhancements. The kind of next set of enhancements, we're going to continue with the model-based definition. There is a lot to kind of be discussed. This model-based definition gives you the ability to define, organize, and publish product data management information. And the scope of something like this is a lot longer than what I want to cover in this session. So I would like to invite you to another session that we're having, just specific on that. The session is a structured framework for engineering and inspection. In this session, Rob and David are going to look at the SolidWorks MBB, looking at PMI information to the model, selecting what is going to be inspected, and looking at downstream applications of that within GOM Inspect and GOM. So I encourage you to go to that session. Very exciting as well. eDrawings is something that that a lot of people use to communicate and share our models. It's something that has been around for a long time. New for 2020, this is again 2021, sorry. This is another of my favorite enhancements, the ability to have file properties embedded within the drawings. Both the custom and configuration specific file properties are now are accessible within the drawing interface. Also, tools that we've had before had been enhanced, like the measuring environment. Now we have not only the ability to measure center to center when looking at cylindrical or circular entities, but also we have the ability then to look at the minimum and maximum distance between those entities. Also, when looking at the distance between an edge and a plane, like a circular edge and a plane, we can also look at normal distances in them. One way of sharing this information is by sharing the e-drawing with this web HTML. And this doesn't require any download. Just by sending that HTML file, you're able to share that information without having to install any other software. When you're opening that, it opens in any browser, any latest version of a browser, and we have the ability to measure. And new for 2021, you can add, move components, and rotate and explode these as well. So in this case, we're grabbing the different components all within the web interface of eDrawings. You could host this, or you could just simply send that HTML file to anyone that requires that information. Solidworks Visualize is a rendering package. It has a very close integration with Solidworks, and that integration has been expanded for 2021. We have the ability to work with the configurations and produce very picture realistic outputs like this picture right here. Also, Composer, that is a great tool for documentation. It lets you create a very user-friendly and intuitive documentation out of your CAD geometry. Things like instructions, manuals, assemblies, all of that is something that Composer is a great tool for. I would like to invite you to look at the details of both Visualize and Composer in the session that Graham Darby is going to be hosting on leveraging your 3D CAD data for stunning visuals and documentation. This is happening tomorrow at 11:30. The next set are one of my favorite set of enhancement, the simulation enhancement. As you know, we have different simulation packages. We have structural, we have flow simulation, we have plastic simulation. And there is so many enhancements in that environment that it needs its own session. And that's the session that the team has put together in the Get the Best Design Faster with Simulation 2021 that is happening the day after tomorrow at 1 p.m. In this session, they're going to be covering the structural, plastic, flow simulation, as well as the new capabilities of simulations in the 3D Experience platform. PDM and Manage, the data management family of products within the SolidWorks desktop environment, also has received a lot of new and exciting enhancements. PDM has both performance and added functionality, as well as SolidWorks Manage. I invite you to look at the detailed version of the enhancements and an overview of both products, PDM and Manage, in the session, that is happening later today at 3:30 p.m., the real cost of this managed data. Please take a look. We also have CAM products within the product family. The CAM, SolidWorks CAM, as well as complementary products like CamWorks and the new products in the platform, the Delmia CAM functionality. And I invite you to the session that is going to be in that that is called Bridge the Gap Between Design and Manufacturing with CAM. In this session, like I said, we're going to be looking at SolidWorks CAM, CamWorks, the Delmia products, and we're even going to look at the new partner for machine monitoring that we have in the manufacturing CAM industry, Simco. So please join both Felicia and Kristen in that session. The last set of enhancements in the SolidWorks desktop is both part of routing and electrical. And we have a session as well for that one in the What's New SolidWorks in SolidWorks Electrical and PCB, and that is happening tomorrow at 1 p.m. So we have a lot of different sessions on the different items of the SolidWorks core product. Chris already talked about the 3D Experience Solidworks, which is the offered solution that we have where we put together the collaboration of the SolidWorks with a version of SolidWorks that is native, embedded with SolidWorks that we call SolidWorks Connected, plus the cloud version of those tools. I'm not gonna kind of repeat what already has been said, but there are different sessions later this week that goes into the details of how both the data management portion of it, but also the cloud-only tools are available within that offer. The main offer has already kind of discussed and shown, so I'm gonna leave it like that. Also, as part of kind of this week, we are covering the 3D Experience platform enhancements as well. So this afternoon in the data management, we're going to be covering the collaboration in the cloud. The simulation session later this week will also cover the validation, and then there is a session only on these cloud-based design tools, and that is the session called Developing Better Products in the Cloud, and that is happening tomorrow at 10 a.m. So a lot of different functionality, a lot of different items that are within the SolidWorks interface, the SolidWorks family of products. So I encourage you to continue that conversation. With that, I finish my presentations. So let's open it up for some questions. I'm going to invite both Chris and Darren and Jessica to participate in this.
That's great. Thank you so much, Hiro, Chris, and Darren. As Hiro mentioned, we do have some time left to take questions, so go ahead and keep them coming. We've got a few in the queue already, so we will go ahead and get started then. Hiro, the first question that we have, I think, should be directed to you. The question is, do the cloud versions of SolidWorks require constant internet connection? Can you also work offline?
The cloud version of SolidWorks does require an internet connection, correct? If for whatever reason you lose that internet connection, you are able to save locally, but to be able to work for an extended period of time, more than a few minutes, you will need that internet connection. So that type of application is for somebody that would have that.
Okay, great. Still on the topic of the 3D Experience SolidWorks, another question for you, Hiro. What is the difference between 3D Experience SolidWorks and the desktop SolidWorks version?
Yeah, so the 3D Experience SolidWorks, the actual application that we have is what we call SolidWorks Connect. And SolidWorks Connected uses the core technology of SolidWorks, the SolidWorks desktop, but it has been modified to be natively communicated or embedded within the platform. So when you're saving, for example, you're saving into the platform directly. When data management is part of already embedded within that functionality, there is some of the tools are different because of this. So for example, Toolbox works different in SolidWorks Connected, but it is it is the same SolidWorks. It is an installed version of SolidWorks. It's not a kind of a cloud version of SolidWorks. It is an installed version of SolidWorks that is natively connected to the platform.
Okay, great. Chris, I think this next question would be best for you. The question is, how has the Canadian manufacturing industry changed since the pandemic? And what's the biggest challenge you see facing Canadian manufacturers now?
That's a big topic, obviously. It's been affected. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's obviously been affected in a multitude of ways. For one, a lot of the people had to go home and start working from home while essential services had to remain open. There was large supply chain disruptions. We're seeing a lot of our customers with the supply chain disruption embrace additive manufacturing, both to pivot to new industries and more rapidly innovate. I think our additive manufacturing group has had a very, very busy summer implementing different things in a broad range of industries. One of the resilient sectors in Canada has been high technology. We haven't really seen a drop off in high tech in our customer base, and a lot of them are embracing additive. I know that the additive team that focuses on transportation and mobility and automotive has been extremely busy. One of the sectors that you think would have been really hurt the most would have been our customers that design commercial office furniture or commercial retail experiences, but they've also pivoted. They've been, manufacturing partitions and on-guard systems, the plexiglass systems that you see in pharmacies or when you go to the grocery store. So they were able to rapidly pivot. I was amazed at how many of them were able to get products and manufacturing done like right away up on their website. So that was great to see. Some of the ones that have been really tough though are, obviously there's been a big impact on aerospace, and I'm not sure when that's going to come back. So they've been impacted in different ways. The high-tech sector, the least, I would say our office furniture and store fixture customers have done a good job pivoting. All of our automation customers have pivoted in the life sciences, but the aerospace industry, it's been pretty tough.
Perfect, thanks, Chris. Hiro, another question for you here. If I have SolidWorks Desktop, do I get access to 3D Experience Solidworks?
No, it's a different product. It is based on the same technology, but it's a different license of product. It is not like an optional of installation. It is actually a different product. There is an upgrade path from your SolidWorks Desktop if you wanna gain the functionality, the out-of-the-box data management in the cloud and the collaboration and the extra functionality of the cloud-based design tools. There is an upgrade path from your SolidWorks to that SolidWorks.
Yeah, and the licensing becomes a little bit different because we don't have, with desktop licenses, we have term licenses, either for 3 months or for a year. And then we have perpetual licenses and we have network licenses. When you're talking about 3D Experience SolidWorks, it becomes a little bit of a different licensing model. It's more like the term-based model. There is a perpetual license model with an annual service fee, which brings your costs down, but it's a named user model. We can work with you to show you what the cost would be, but it should be fairly similar to what you're paying now for desktop.
Yeah, I think the kind of the bundle of functionality that it is in there, it really does make that offer appealing.
Yeah.
Great, thank you both. Darren, I think this next one is best with you. The question is, we saw that CAD Micro was producing face shields earlier in the pandemic. Can you speak a little more about the role additive manufacturing played in that?
Sure. So there was, as the pandemic started, there was a number of different initiatives around PPE. One of them ended up being a Canada-wide initiative that was really spearheaded by HP. So we worked with them, we worked with the federal government, and then a number of our customers were doing the manufacturing And in the end, there was around 500,000 face shields that were produced and distributed across Canada, amongst other different forms of PPE. But it was a team effort with companies across Canada working collaboratively to make that happen.
Great, thanks, Darren. Hiro, another one for you. What type of hardware is necessary for the enhanced graphics performance setting?
Yeah, so that setting is using your graphics card. So the better the graphics card, the more advantages you get with that setting. It is using an OpenGL kind of technology within, so you need a graphics card that supports that. We typically recommend the NVIDIA set of cards. We like them, and they're proven to be very good. So though that you do need to have like an engineering type of graphics card to take advantage of that.
Okay, great. Another one for you, Hiro. What is the difference between detailing mode and detached drawings?
That's a good question. The detailing mode, I think, is the reimagining and the new way of that detached drawing. Detached drawings was a little bit of a legacy feature, or a first try at being able to kind of work with these drawings without having to be attached to the 3D models to give that better performance. But the workflow wasn't optimal. You didn't know if they were attached. You may kind of lose information. There was a lot of problems with them. So what SolidWorks did in the last couple of years is that they reimagined those details. They used that as a almost like a theme, and then created this detailing mode that is it is kind of more integrated. It is easier and more kind of understandable to use, and is more powerful.
Jess, before you go to the next question, I think Sean has a great question for Hiro there.
The question is, did Hiro 3D print the trophies behind him? We'll put you on the spot,
Thanks,
Hiro.
No, I did not, and I did not win those trophies either. They're my wife's trophies.
All right. Chris, I think you touched on this one already, but we'll ask it again anyways. The question is, we've been hearing a lot more about the 3D Experience platform this year. Can you speak to why you believe the 3D Experience platform is important for us engineers and designers moving forward?
Sure. Let's look at, people think it's new, first of all, right? And it is new to some degree in some of the packages and the offers that we're putting together, but the platform has been leveraged by some of the largest, most innovative companies globally for a number of years. A great example is Tesla, which develops its cars and all of its manufacturing using 3D Experience. There's a company in Michigan that does automotive benchmarking and has been doing some reverse engineering and tear down videos showing how quickly Tesla is able to innovate, called Rameau and Associates. The gentleman that owns the company, his name is Sandy Monroe. He comes up to CMTS most years. Wonderful guy. And he was showing in some videos this summer how between May and June, the Model Y had more than 36 engineering changes actually implemented in cars that were coming off the assembly line in May versus June. And that type of innovation, that type of speed is really engineering at the speed of thought, and that's unheard of. So 3D Experience platform gives our customers, the SolidWorks community, the ability to do engineering at thought, at the speed of thought, which is something that's very different than what we had with our traditional desktop with heavy infrastructure requirements with CAD simulation and PDM. So it's something for sure to take notice of. A great Canadian success story that's also using 3D Experience is Pratt and Whitney. They've standardized across all of their divisions for aircraft engine design, and the innovations that they're coming out with are, again, engineering at the speed of thought. So it's something we all need to take a look at and think about.
One of the things that I'm always surprised about the platform is the different set of applications that are used and created within the platform. And one very interesting note on that is that I think is 3/4 of all the companies that are doing in stage 3 of the COVID vaccine are actually working on that vaccine in the platform. So it's even in the life sciences, it is there. So really, really cool.
Very interesting, thank you. Chris, we've got another one for you here. Do you believe there will be more manufacturing within Ontario moving forward due to the shortages that were experienced during the height of the pandemic?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the key features of Industry 4.0, which was sort of this unleashing of a basket of different technologies that are all coming on stream about 3 or 4 years ago that already began. I think that the disruption of the pandemic has accelerated the adoption of Industry 4.0 as customers, when they're dealing with the challenges of disruptions in the supply chain, disruptions in collaboration globally, they start to onshore. We're just like I spoke about Moore's law, how maybe with computing that it's run its course and it's no longer able to increase exponentially. There is a lot of different technologies in Industry 4.0 that are increasing exponentially still, like the speed and power with which you can do additive manufacturing, which certainly allows our Ontario companies and our Canadian companies to innovate and onshore much easier. They're able to buy something like a Nexa 3D printer or an HP jet fusion machine and put that in their shop and get really mass scale production up and running very quickly. That's also very flexible and local.
That's great. Hiro, a question about the new flanged sheet metal feature. The question is, where are the breaks in the new flanged sheet metal feature? I don't see how that can be formed by a brake press.
Right. So it is not doing it's not doing what like a blank works or some application like that. It's not deforming the thickness of the sheet metal when you're doing that. It is meant to be able to kind of create that flange in 3D and give you an overview of the flat pattern of it, but it's not doing a deformation of the material, of the thickness of the material, and extraction of that material in that environment. There are tools within the kind of Solidworks partner products that we represent that does that, and if that's something that is your requirement, then we have a solution for that. But there is a lot of companies and people that do not require that. They just want to have a sheet metal part that is kind of representing that. It's almost like a forming tool.
Okay, great. Another one for you, Hiro. Is there any improvement in SolidWorks 2021 with Altium collaboration or in PCB?
Yeah, so there has been improvements. I think Talal may be talking about them in the session about SolidWorks and PCB. There is also a Altium collaboration with the 3D Experience platform, a connector with that, which is something that we're kind of very excited about. And yes, kind of with different service packs, there's been actually functionality that is being kind of added to the SolidWorks PCB.
Great, thank you. Chris, I think this is a good one for you. The question is, I've heard the term Industry 4.0 referred to frequently throughout the presentation. Could you define what you mean by Industry 4.0?
Yeah, there's been throughout the modern age, there's been 3 previous industrial revolutions. The first one was in the late 1700s with the invention of the steam engine. The second one was Henry Ford's assembly line in terms of mass specialization. The third one was the digital age, and that call that Industry 3.0. And our view of that Industry 3.0 would be Engineering 3.0, and that's our traditional SolidWorks desktop with PDM and simulation. And we've been, as part of the Dassault Systems family and SolidWorks family, we've been selling and innovating with that for the past 25 years. Industry 4.0 started 3 or 4 years ago, and it's a basket of different technologies that are all coming online at the same time, where they're affordable, powerful, easy to use. and they're democratized across small, medium, and large businesses. And so some of the technologies that are included are what we've been speaking about today: cloud computing, additive manufacturing, 3D scanning and metrology, augmented and virtual reality, big data, advanced analytics, advanced simulation, inexpensive robotics, right? And these different technologies that are all coming on stream at the same time, they actually make, when you combine them together, they're even more disruptive than just using them on their own. And so we're seeing companies innovate rapidly through the adoption of these Industry 4.0 technologies as they combine them. And our strategy at CAD Micro Solutions is to really have a best-in-class selection of these, to curate industry-specific solutions for Industry 4.0, to let our customers transition from Engineering 3.0 to Engineering 4.0.
Great, thanks, Chris. And question for Hiro here. The question is, are 2021 files backwards compatible with SolidWorks 2020, or is it just a one-way ticket?
It is kind of a one-way ticket, as it's always been. There is the kind of the last service pack of the previous year is able to import the next version of files, but it's not kind of a full functionality, full features. So it is still the same as it's always been, not really backwards compatible.
Okay, great, thank you. Chris, we've got a question here. Is there a price difference between the
Here in Toronto? I know that we were. Yes, so you can either purchase and keep on subscription your desktop licenses of SolidWorks, but buy the cloud collaboration capability, right, which would be an incremental charge, or you can upgrade your existing desktop licenses to 3D Experience Solidworks, which are the three offers that I talked about. And in some cases, the license of the 3D Experience Solidworks using an introductory kind of special pricing are less than the existing SolidWorks desktop term licenses. We're not going to publish the pricing today on the special offers, but we do have a number of different promotions and things going on right now. So if you're interested in kind of speccing out a solution, again, they do tend to be quite customer specific. So we'd want to look at your particular application and give you a proposal based on your requirements.
Great, thanks, Chris. Hiro, it looks like we've just got one more, and I think this is a question for you. The question is, when using Cloud SolidWorks, can it be used at the same time on a server with a shared folder? How is it updated? And are all users required to be using the same version of SolidWorks?
Yeah, so that's okay. A couple of things there. One is that it's not really Cloud SolidWorks. It's still like an installed version of SolidWorks that it works natively with the platform in the cloud. But there is an install component of it. But yes, so it is deployed, right? For me to start SolidWorks Connected, I go log into my 3D Experience platform in the browser, in the website. I log in there, click on the app, and that launches that SolidWorks Connected. It is always.
If our customers are interested in licenses of SolidWorks using infrastructure as a service that are hosted on the cloud, we can do that.
Right, but right. Okay, yes, but I don't think that was the question. So it gets installed on default, and everybody's always using the latest version. It's like when you go to any of your to a website or to the kind of HTML apps, that when you click on that, you're always kind of in the latest version. That is the same with the SolidWorks Connected. Now, to work with files in a shared location, you can, the workflow is that you're exporting them out of the cloud into a local set of files. So it's almost like doing a pack and go from where they're saved in the platform into a folder. But yeah, so it is automatically updated by itself. Everybody's using the same version of it, and you can export those files out into a regular folder after they've been saved in the platform.
Great, thank you. And actually on that same topic, Hiro, one more question. Are you able to open desktop saved SolidWorks files with the cloud-based version of SolidWorks?
Yes, you're able to open them and save them. And again, when you export them out of the cloud, they're regular SLD, PRTs, and assemblies and all of that. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I think that is all questions answered. So unless there's any more questions coming through, I think we can go ahead and wrap up for today. So once again, thank you very much to Darren, Chris, and Hiro, our presenters today. And thank you all very much for joining us to kick off our Enabling Canadian Innovation SolidWorks 2021 Virtual Launch Series. Keep in mind, we've got 13 more sessions, one more today, and then the remaining running through until Thursday. So we hope to see you again at some of those other sessions, and don't forget to keep an eye out for our survey later this week for a chance to win some cool prizes. Thanks a lot, everyone. Take care.
Thank you, Jessica, for organizing this tremendous work.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.